So my name is Susie Howland. I am the chair of the Liverpool branch, and I have been involved with Comhaltas since I was a wee baby, since I was 7 years of age. And the branch was formed in the 1960s by the original Liverpool Ceilidh Band members. The original Ceilidh Band was formed in the 60s when a group of Irish people came over, mostly academics studying at the University of Liverpool, so notably Charlie Lennon, Eamon Coyne. And they started off the first Ceilidh Band and actually started off what would be teaching the fiddle classes in the old Liverpool Irish Centre based in Mount Pleasant. And that sort of grew into various Ceilidh Bands, various solo musicians. Liverpool's probably famous for its families rather than individuals, so the Coyne family, the Morrison family. We've got various people who've competed in the All-Irelands, and obviously Nathan Carter and his family are very well known and former All-Ireland winners. And essentially we've carried on the tradition really for the last 60 or so years of playing musical instruments, solos, Ceilidh Bands, groupie kills, and having a good old laugh. So the Liverpool Irish community is a big crowd in Liverpool, made up of various students, often not obviously people not from Liverpool direct, and the third and second generation Irish families. So obviously we're integrated within the community because we are based within the Liverpool Irish Centre, but we perform our community events, we engage with the external community and all the various different people and different demographics within the community, and we also extend our sort of collaborations to other branches outside of Liverpool and basically share the knowledge and heritage of Irish language and culture with other people in Liverpool.
Yeah, we're at the Irish Centre today in Liverpool celebrating St Patrick's Day. I introduced him earlier. This is the Deputy Lord Mayor of Dublin. It's Rory McGinley. Good morning to you, Rory.
Thank you.
What exactly are you doing over here?
We're over here supporting the St Patrick's Day parade in Liverpool and the festivities.
Okay, and what are the celebrations that have been going on in Ireland? Tell us all about those.
There's a very large parade in O'Connell Street in Dublin today. There'll be roughly 500,000 people who will turn out for that. And then in every other town and city there'll be St Patrick's Day parade as well.
Right, and what exactly is the Liverpool connection here? Because I'm a bit sort of vague on this one. Tell us about that.
In the famine years in the last century, hundreds of thousands of Irish people came to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And a lot of them settled in Liverpool. And that means that Liverpool has a very high Irish connection in the population.
And is it true that over half of Liverpool's inhabitants can claim to have an Irish grandparent?
I think that is true because it goes back 5 generations.
Interesting fact there for you. All right, guys, we've got our Irish contingent here today. If you spin around as well, we've got Irish dancers. They're going to be dancing later on for you. And of course, we've got Irish musicians. They're all here this morning. We're celebrating St Patrick's Day in fine style. And stand by now for another reason to be cheerful.
So we have quite a variety really. We have former members or people who were existing members who competed as children and have went through the whole process from kid to adult. So I myself teach flute and tin whistle. We've got banjo teachers, accordion teachers, Ceilidh Band teachers, drummers, lilters, singers, you name it, we've got it. And we're trying to provide all of that at Liverpool. Yeah, so Liverpool, obviously we compete within the Fleadh, and we try and every year get as many people as we can to the All Ireland, whether or not we're competing or not. But as well as sort of Fleadh participation, we also compete, have Liverpool Irish Music Festival, which we have its own home in Liverpool, where we're allowed to share our culture every year, and the branch participates by playing in the Albert Dock every year. The Ceilidh bands have played big festivals like Fesh, and have actually been on the same lineup as Van Morrison, which was pretty cool. So yeah, we've got quite a wide breadth and variety of things that we do here at Liverpool. So yeah, essentially there was a sort of collaboration started where we noticed some Liverpool and Coatbridge members started really getting along with each other, and it essentially started out as a bit of crack really, bit of session playing, and we ended up going up to Coatbridge, sharing our knowledge and expertise, and then they've come down here and performed for us, and that's something that we do annually now, and hopefully we'll be doing that in face-to-face once all restrictions are all done and dusted. Yeah, so within the Liverpool Irish Centre we have monthly sessions, and we also have obviously weekly lessons and various Ceilidh dances for different demographics. So you have your quick Ceilidhs and your slower Ceilidhs. But we also have quite a lot of sessions within Liverpool as well, supported and sort of there to promote culture. So we have sessions on a Monday, Thursday, Wednesday and Sunday at various different places around Liverpool. So one of the things that we like to do at Liverpool, particularly with our sort of links to academic students coming over here, particularly because the Ceilidh band was started in that way, we try and encourage, you know, whether students to actually participate in sharing their knowledge and culture from where they come from. So we encourage students to come and join us and help teach, even whether it be a workshop or even just help teaching a new tin whistle player. But also we want to try and sort of adapt and learn from those different styles. So we've got quite a lot to offer their students, and also various gigging opportunities, whether or not they come up, and also with links to the Irish Centre as well, because there are greater sort of links to the community there to support students when they're away from home.
Two brothers bold called Mick and Pat who lived near Derrylin. They had a darling springing cow and they called her Mary Jane. But hay was scarce and cash was scarce and both their suits threadbare. So Mary Jane she had to go to Ballyconnell Fair. The morning of the fair arrived, a shocking fog and mist came rolling down the hills of June, you couldn't see your fist. Says Pat to Mickey, you walk in front and I'll bring up the rear, with Mary Jane between us both to Ballyconnell Fair. At Gautarina, Mary Jane, she played an awful trick. She slipped into a by-road there unknown to Pat and Mick. She ate her feet from Droomsay Stack and then she made her lair, whilst Pat and Mick they welted on to Ballyconnell Fair. They reached the green at 8:30, approaching the daylight. The fog had lifted all at once, the drovers hove in sight. Says Pat to Mick, who is Mary Jane? I can't see her nowhere. By the Holy Lord, it was me you drove to Ballyconnell Fair. The search went out for Mary Jane, they looked far and near. The army and the guards were called and many volunteers. They searched the roads, they searched the fields, they searched just everywhere. But no matter where they looked, they couldn't find her anywhere. Now both men's dead, God rest their souls, but still the story's told around the fires in Derrylin, enjoyed by young and old. and children asking going to bed and dashing up the stairs. Was it Pat to drove Mick or Mick drove Pat to Ballyconnell Fair?
Yeah, so we regularly try, and there's various different lessons, so we try and encourage kids to maybe start learning the Irish language, but we start with the basics first and just try and teach them what their instruments are called. But most of our musicians tend to be dancers, tend to be Ceilidh dancers, often are not singers and songwriters as well. So lots of fingers and lots of pies, everyone. So as a kid who grew up there, so I initially started playing music on a bet on my dad, who was drunk, who said that you didn't think I'd be able to play tin whistle, and he was able to take me to the Irish Centre the day after, and I was able to learn everything from a great lot of people. So I always remember the Irish Centre had this big stage, and the fiddle lessons all were behind this big stage, and we'd all run around like crazy, running in between the lessons, moving equipment that we shouldn't be moving, and it was organised chaos, and it was the best organised chaos it could have been. It was a really lovely place to grow up along, and having tuition from like people like Mary Mack and Sean McNamara and all those families, and having that encouragement as a child has probably really encouraged me to carry on working with Comhaltas in the future, and it was the best, and it was really missed. Oh, I'm getting all nostalgic now. So I decided to reform, or sort of recalibrate the Ceilidh band about 5 or 6 years ago, but we still have a massive amount of Ceilidh band members. We've probably got about 30 odd members compared to your usual Ceilidh band. So we decided to compete in the Fleadh, hoping that we may qualify to All Britain and All Ireland, and we qualified to All Britain and come second, and got beaten by Scotland. Comhaltas Fleadh, that's fine. And then we've just started gigging and doing other things at the moment, and trying to do things outside the Fleadh and just sort of teach the community about Ceilidh. So various cool things that I've done more recently have been openings for new local community initiatives, and playing Ceilidhs in the middle of the street, in the middle of Anfield in Liverpool, which you wouldn't usually see, and having loads of kids playing football while you're playing Ceilidh in the middle of the street was pretty cool. And we're continuing to sort of continue on playing gigs in local pubs, clubs, and we're available for any other events that you may want us for. And we're also starting to extend teaching Ceilidh now, so bringing, you know, Ceilidh teachers to the dance and to help translate that into the dance, and also doing other workshops as how to actually play music for Ceilidh dancing, which is a skill all in itself.
it? That's not me, no. I just asked you all this question.
Ashton branch was formed in 1972, so we've been going now for 49 years. Next year we have a big celebration of 50 years, so we're doing quite well as a branch.
Well, over the past few years, we've had a bit of a drop in numbers, I should say, but we've started to put more of a family evening on. The children's music lessons go on a Saturday morning, and then on a Friday evening, what used to be the adult sessions have become much more like a family orientated, so the families come down and we kind of sit, we play, learn some tunes and socialise. Looking to expand on that really moving forward.
Over the years we have been involved with other branches, and some of our junior members have played in, for example, the Liverpool Curly Band, their junior bands as well, and vice versa. Some of their members have come and played in our bands over the years. We do support the regional events and go to Cayley's and things like that for the region, and concerts. We've taken part in all the regional concerts with the young children as well.
Yeah, we did start just before lockdown with having a local pub, a nice big beer garden. We was having outdoor sessions there on a Sunday afternoon, and other branches from Manchester were coming down to see us as well, and we was hoping to expand on that, but obviously circumstances changed, it stopped, but we are looking forward to getting back to it again and expand on that.
At the moment, we haven't got a lot of young members. I've been the music teacher there now for the branch for 25 years, and we've had some good times, we've had some good bands, and we've had times when it's gone quiet and then when we've built up again. And I think we're just about ready to start building up again now. As I say, I've been here for teaching for 25 years. There's been 3 music teachers in the 49 years in the branch. The first music teacher was Donald Barra until he went back to Limerick. And then Billy Greenall took over then, God rest his soul. And he was teaching in Ashton in the club until about 87, when just before he went back to live in Nina, and he asked me to take over. And I've been teaching there ever since. And over the years, we've had some really good bands and good groups of children. And also, I started an adult music class, and that came about because there was a few people asking, would I start an adult music class? I think we were one of the first branches to start an adult music class, and I didn't think there would be much response. So I set a date for after Christmas. I forget where it was, a few years ago now. And at the end of the junior class, I stayed in the room and I thought, I'll give it 10 minutes, and nobody came. I thought, nobody's interested. And the classes are held upstairs. When I went down, there was 14 adults sitting there with whistles waiting for me to call them up. And what were the nice thing about that was a lot of them were parents of the children I'd taught that had gone off to university, so they wanted to still be involved in the branch. So that went well for a few years. And we've carried on. That's how Declan came back.
That's kind of how I came back. Yeah, I started learning music at the Brown Brew when I was 9 years old. Obviously, you grow up late teens and you drift away from it. And my son Aidan mentioned that he wanted to start learning. So I was taking him along to the classes to Margaret. And it was the same again. It's like, well, I have to bring him here, so I might as well start again myself. But because of that, I've got more heavily involved with the music again.
I think one good thing for the branch is the club. The Brian Brewer Club in Ashton and Makerfield is one of the oldest Irish democratic clubs in Britain. It was formed in 1879, so it's been going a long time before we came along. But the beauty of the club is that it's there for us. There's no problems whenever you want to use it. I was teaching on a Saturday morning. I was given the keys to open up and go in and take the class. You know, the committee there are also very encouraging as well and supportive. And nothing's too much, nothing's any trouble.
No.
And we support them as well when they're having any functions. We play as well at the same time. We do joint ventures together.
So over the lockdown, the long-standing committee have decided it's time for them just to take a back seat. So we're currently now planning. The club's going to be open again before the end of June. It's all being revamped, decorated, younger committee, new ideas. So I'm going to try to have a big relaunch, and then, as Julie was saying, we're coming up close to our 50th anniversary of Comhaltas in the Brian Brew Club. So again, there'll be another big function for that, and hopefully the whole thing pulled together will generate more members for us.
I think the beauty of this new committee as well is that there's a lot of Comhaltas members on the committee as well. So in fact, the Vice President, Sean Dean, his nan was one of the founder members of the branch. So it's nice to see that he's still heavily involved as well. And again, that'll give that, bring us together closer. You know, it's a crossover there above the club and the branch supporting each other through these difficult times.
And from my point of view, I think it's a matter of letting people know that we're there and we're still there, and we want to carry on being there and being a big part of that, the whole wide range of community as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on the Friday nights, we have had a couple of more senior people coming down. It's helped them with the Alzheimer's and things like that. So, you know, they've been welcomed in and they've really enjoyed coming along to the sessions. But unfortunately, with COVID and the age of people, they've not been able to come in and carry on with that. Hopefully we can pick that back up and push it forward.
So as I said, there will be a big campaign going on both for the club branch and for the club itself. The difficulty is that the club is in a small town, very small town, so we rely on people travelling from St Helens, Manchester, Greater Manchester, Liverpool, to come into the club, and that's why we need to get the message out there that the club is open again. It's still going strong, and so is the branch.
Yeah. Well, we have pride within the club itself. Like I said, we all learn music there ourselves from being young, and we've always prided ourselves on being inclusive. You know, so it doesn't matter what your background is, where you come from. If you want to come and learn a bit of music, then come down. And it's always been like the founder members that are coming back to give back into the club and keep the branch going.
memory from me, I always hold dear, is the Fleadh and Clonmel in, I think, 92, when I had the 15 to 18 Kerry band won the All Britain, and we travelled over to Clonmel, and the fun was actually in the journey. We had a group Cheoil, and we had a Kerry band in that year, and it was just the fun on the coach and travelling over, and everybody stayed in the same guest house, which was a bit noisy. It's a good job it was just us in it, and it was just the sheer fun of that as well. I think another big achievement for the branch is we've actually held, although we've been a small branch, we've actually hosted 2 regional flowers. Yeah. One just a few years ago, which was in the place near you, I can't think of it.
Kirby Lonsdale.
No, that was the regional, in Lowton.
Yes.
Yeah, in Lowton High School. That was a great success. Everybody said they liked that one. Yeah. We did, as a region, the Ashton branch has quite a few of its own members on the regional board as well, and we put together the big Northern Regional Fleadh in Kirby Lonsdale. Even though financially it wasn't a great success, the actual weekend itself was fantastic. It was like we're the Fleadhs over here have always been high schools or universities. We wanted to give a taste of the actual All Ireland for people who wouldn't be travelling there, and I think we did it. I think it worked.
We took over the town, and
we just took over the whole town, and it was just party central for the full weekend. Yeah. So that was one of my favourite memories.
See, I'm still fairly new to this, and I think I've only been to a few Fleadhs myself. But I think one of the real kind of outstanding memories for that is my daughter getting up and playing. My daughter's very, very nervous and struggles to kind of socialise with people, but the encouragement they gave her in the room the day she got up and played the box, just the general feeling of come on, you're welcome, it made the day for me. And to see her playing, and that encouragement as well that they gave her, and the feedback and everything else, was absolutely fantastic. And she came away from that really pleased with herself and a lot more confident.
moving